So back in 2021, when I posted my brain fog video that went viral, one of the natural remedies that I recommended was iodine. At the time I was taking Lugol's iodine, and I was also eating kelp, which is another great source of iodine. Over time, I kind of shifted to just the kelp because it just seemed like I didn't need that much iodine. But yeah, a few years before that, I had just been really struggling with brain fog. Like I couldn't remember anything. I just felt tired and exhausted all the time. And like I couldn't even do basic thinking, like creative problem solving. It's just like everything was a struggle. And then I started working with this naturopath that recommended iodine. So I started with the kelp, and it was just this feeling of like going through a mental car wash, like all this grime that had built up just like went away, and I could finally remember things and people's names, and like just, I don't know, write code all day long and wake up at 5 a.m. and finish an entire video script, like 2,000 words, in a matter of like an hour or two, and everything started to change, So I incorporated it into my routine. I just had been taking it for the past few years, but recently I have been kind of delving into some thyroid issues that I've had, and it's pretty clear now that I am hyperthyroid. And oftentimes with hyperthyroid, it's recommended to kind of back off or not take any iodine at all, or not eat sources of food that have a lot of iodine, because it can kind of like goad your thyroid on when it's already sort of racing. So a few months ago, I decided to stop eating kelp for a while just to see what would happen. And it was one of those things where you kind of like make this life change and then you kind of forget that you've made it. So I stopped eating kelp, and at first things were fine. So I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe it was just all like in my head, all along, and it wasn't really doing anything. But then after a couple months, it was just like I couldn't function anymore. I was tired all the time. I couldn't get anything done. I was like, my like ADHD was coming back really strong, and like depression, and like didn't want to get out of bed. And I thought, well, maybe it's, sad, like seasonal defective seasonal affective disorder. And I'm sure like that was part of it as well. But yeah, so recently I just remembered that I haven't been eating kelp. I found it in the cabinet. I'm like, oh, damn it. Like I didn't mean to stop for so long. I just meant to do maybe like a few weeks of going off of it to see if it made any difference. And so a couple of days ago, I had some kelp, and the house was just like a mess. I wasn't keeping up with anything. And I just had this massive to-do list of things to do. So I had the kelp, and like an hour later, nothing was happening. So I'm like, oh, whatever. And then about 3 or 4 hours after that, when it started to digest, I just got this like, like everything cleared up. And immediately I just like did all the dishes that had piled up. And I like cleaned my room, and I don't know, went for a walk to the grocery store, which I do anyways. Like even if I'm really depressed, I always go for a walk. But and that day I shot like 2 YouTube videos. And then the next day, yesterday, I also shot 2 YouTube videos. And it's just been really amazing to get back on a source of iodine. And it's clear to me that my body was like craving it like mad. And I kind of saw the warning signs, because like if you start craving seafood, in particular, it usually means that you're deficient on iodine, and your brain is just like, oh my God, give me some iodine. If you live in the beach, if you live, by the ocean, then you get a lot more iodine than other people do, because you're getting it from the mist and you're getting it from the water if you go into the water. But if you're living on the land away from the ocean, like you are in upstate New York, you're not getting enough iodine, most likely. And it can be very finicky. So it's not the type of thing where like you just want to go out and start like taking a bunch of Lugol iodine, because you really can like throw off your thyroid with a very small amount. So, but yeah, I mean, just starting with like a gram of seaweed. I get mine from the Seaweed Man in Maine, and he harvests it himself. It's really high quality. You don't want to get seaweed from a lot of other places in the world, because, for example, like near Japan and Asia, there's a lot of radioactive waste from reactor meltdowns in the water still. So yeah, that's not good. But I don't know. It's just been amazing. Like when I go out for a walk, I just have infinite energy. I have all these ideas. I can just talk and talk and talk, and I meet people, and I'm like just naturally extroverted, whereas a lot of times when I'm not taking kelp or iodine, I just feel like I'm in a clamshell. I feel like seafood myself. But yeah, I feel like I wasted a lot of time the past 2 months being off of having 3 grams of kelp every day because I just haven't been able to get things done. You know, it's just like a struggle to just shoot like a basic barefoot video without even editing when I'm just sitting down in front of the camera and talking about a shoe. And I don't know, I'd have to cut it like a million times, or you know, I'd have to delete the footage because I was I was so all over the place that the video was a complete waste. But I don't know. Yeah, I've been getting things done. I've been visualizing my van um, much more strongly than I had before. I mean, before it was feeling like it was so far away. Like I'm saving up to buy a van for van life for anyone that doesn't know, but you probably do know if you're watching this channel. Um, but yeah, so I started drawing again as well. I did this top-down layout, and it's actually to scale. Like I do realize that I need some like van build software so that I can sort of like in 3D see where everything is. But I don't know. I have this dream of having a drum set in there, like a full drum set. Well, not a full drum set, but at least a kick, snare, and hi-hats. And I'm thinking if I get like maybe a 10-inch, 10-inch, maybe about like that, kick drum. I want like a 24-inch kick drum with a 10-inch depth, because then you get that like John Bonham like boom sound, and then maybe like a piccolo snare drum. I love that like high snappy snare drum with the deep thump like kick, you know? And like how cool would that be to have a drum set in my van, and I could do some sound insulation and whatnot so that the resonance would be like pretty good. But what else did I add? Yeah, the desk continues to be like a main thing in my van builds. You got the speakers there and the monitor and like music workstation. And then I'm thinking like over here, I would have kind of like a kitchen area, you know, the sink and the stove and ingredients over there and the refrigerator. And then this is kind of interesting. Like I came up with this idea of having like a folding shelf area. So this is a sliding door. So like the door would slide open, but then you'd have this kind of like shelf thing that would sort of collapse like that, and then it could swing out either outside of the van or like into the van so that you can kind of like get it out of the way, because there's a lot of dead space where the door is. But yeah, what else? Oh, I came up with the idea. I really like this idea of having the shower in the corner, and then you would have like a bookcase. This would be a hidden bookcase door here that would open up into the cabin, and then here maybe some other shelves. So. But I don't know. It's very unrealistic at this point in terms of like knowing where everything is going to be. But I did find a local dealer that has a extended Ford Transit with the high roof. So the next few days when I have some free time, I'm going to go over there and take a look at it. Maybe I'll do a little vlog. But I'm really looking forward to things again. And it's just like iodine is the closest thing I've ever experienced to actual magic. Like when I compare it against other things, I mean, fasting as well, but I think iodine might actually be even more powerful. I don't know. Maybe fasting has more benefits overall for health, but in terms of like mental clarity, iodine is definitely number one for me. But yeah, the transformation was like instant, you know, because I went from having about almost 2 months of just like brain fog and lack of motivation, and then as soon as I started taking iodine again, it was like immediate. Like I said, it was in 4 hours, you know? So it's like the fastest fix for depression that I have ever experienced in my entire life. And it's such a strong effect that it is just simply not possible that it could be a placebo effect, because I've experienced this before with placebos where they really only last for a few hours or a day, and then you burn out, you know? Like the energy just doesn't it doesn't continue, and it's also kind of like very frenetic energy, like coffee energy. Coffee energy is fake energy, but iodine energy is like, it's not even that your body has more energy, it's that it knows how to use the energy that you have effectively mentally. So I don't know. I'm really happy about it. Like I said, like don't go crazy with iodine. Start very low dosage with just like a gram of seaweed if you do want to try it. And I would get it from the Seaweed Man, which I'll put a link down to below. But yeah, feeling really good and looking forward to making more vlog videos again, because it can be really tiring. I'm filming a video every single day for my main YouTube channel, and I enjoy it. I get to go outside and film barefoot footage and stuff. Like, it was 30 degrees this morning, and that's another sign that I know that my energy is like back on, because it is not fun going out into 30 degrees to film. You know, my fingers are like freezing cold, but I just like, you could just see the pathway of like why this matters. Like, I'm saving up for the van, you know, I'm probably going to get to $4,000 when I get my paycheck from YouTube, in terms of savings for the deposit. And then I'll only have $1,000 left to get to the deposit. So things are getting like real, you know, and I'm really excited about it. And I was getting really tired of feeling like depressed and cold, from not having iodine. So yeah, things are going good, but I hope things are going well for you too. And thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Peace.